to another edition of Sky Blue Fans TV for the fans, by the fans. And tonight we've got some hot topics. Oh, we've gone all a bit professional. Yes, number one, do we play quicker with Allen in the team instead of Sheaf? Oh, controversial. Two, will Kitchen's good form mean that Doug won't sign another defender? Not that it's likely anyway. Or more importantly, loan him out or sell him on. Three, Howley back, Burrows to follow. Will they be used? Will they just be assessed and sent back out again? And four, Doug King. Yes, exactly. Five, transfers. Yes, and six, we've been fined for a bit of fighting. And so we'll talk about that as well. And of course, we've got other things to talk about, players' meetings. We've even got a Bristol City fan, my mate Sam, who's a big Bristol fan, goes and follows them up and down the country. He's going to come on around about 8 o'clock. But tonight, I am joined by Victoria. Good evening, Vicky.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. We're joined by Jack the Hat, Leamington and Warwick Supporters Club. Evening, Jack.
Evening, everybody.
And the voice of reason on social media, Wayne Littlewood.
Good evening to you all.
How you doing, Wayne? You all right?
Very well, mate. Busy at the minute, but yeah, always got time for a quick hour on here.
Good. Well, Kenny's working. That's why he's not on the screen. Miles is absolutely snowed under as well, so that's why he's not here. So I'm going to carry it on, shall I? Here we go then. Right. Are we quicker? And is the pace of our team much better in the last couple of games? I mean, obviously, there's only been one game without Sheaf, but with Allen in the midfield compared to Sheaf. This was Jack's suggestion. Says Jack can kick it off.
Great, thanks. It has been. We have been quicker these past couple of games. However, that's not necessarily linked straight to the fact that Allen's in the team. He's had two very good performances. I'm not normally a fan of his, but two good performances. And, you know, we 90 minutes on the clock, we were beating Norwich, and 90 minutes on the clock, we were beating Sheffield Wednesday. So we just seem to fall apart in the last couple of minutes. We played quite quick against Plymouth as well, but that's Plymouth. I think anyone would play quickly through Plymouth. So it's not necessarily linked to Jamie, although Jamie has put in two very, very good performances. He wore the armband, I believe, on Saturday, and he led the team very well, I thought.
Yeah, it's a bit baffling though, isn't it? That we've made signings, in the summer, and yet somebody who we didn't expect to really kick a ball this season has come into the team and looks like a brand new signing, which is ridiculous, really. What do you think, Wayne? You're not a fan, are you?
What, of Allen?
Yeah.
I don't mind him, but it's a bit hard for me to answer. The reason being is I missed the last game. I was working. So I can't. Yeah. So for someone who's the voice of reasoning, I can't really answer that, I'm afraid. But I do rate Allen. I do think from what I've seen in the past, we do seem to move quicker when he's on. He's a bit of a bullet here, there, and everywhere. I don't think, for me, the likes of Sheaf and Eccles work together because we're too defensive, and it's very sideways Sammy when them two are on, and it bores the living daylights out me watching them two together. So I'm all for Allen being in. I think Sheaf being injured may be a blessing in disguise as well, because he hasn't pulled up any trees this season. He's been really, really poor compared to how he was last season. He's still one of my favourite players, but there's a lot to be desired this season with Ben Sheaf. I don't know whether he's still got, before he's gone injured, was he still carrying an injury? Has his head been turned elsewhere? Does he think he's going? I don't know, but he just doesn't look the same player. And the midfield all season has been pretty poor.
Yeah, we're not.
That's all I can really take on Jamie Allen.
Vicky, what do you think? Do you think we seemed a lot quicker the last couple of games with Allen in the team?
Yeah, I was trying to remember who played in midfield when we played Everton in pre-season. Because did Allen play then? Because Chief was injured, wasn't he? So presumably it was the same setup as. Is that right? Yeah.
It was Allen, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's something to be said about that, then, isn't there? Because it's not like it's just a one-off game. We said earlier, in an earlier podcast, haven't we, that Everton game, we came out like really fast and excited to football, and we were like excited about the season. And it just sort of dropped away from there. And if he was playing there, and he's obviously played. I mean, I was impressed with him against Norwich, and I thought he deserved his start again against Sheffield Wednesday. Because when we got down to Norwich and I saw that was a team, I was thinking, what is going on? Why is Alan playing? You just expect to see him feature at all this season, and he's one of those players that every time you think he's had his time at the club, he just seems to find another bit of something. It's weird, but yeah. I agree to a point with Wayne. I mean, obviously, you're not a massive fan of Eccles, who I do like, but I do think that when you've got Sheaf and Eccles together, especially with the form that Sheaf's been in this season, that they're too similar, and that hasn't helped this season.
With Jamie Allen, if you remember back in the day with O'Hare and Gustavo Hamer, that was our little trio in midfield at one stage. You know, they all complemented each other, and Alan was a big part of that, doing a lot of the donkey work.
Yeah,
and he has been popping up with more goals last season. You know, he definitely improved, but obviously didn't get much of a look in because he was he had an injury, didn't he, at one stage, I believe. So he sort of had to work his way back in again. But it's a bit disappointing when we're having to pluck a player out from a few seasons ago to revive our midfield.
yeah.
In terms of the way we play. I mean, I look at the last game, and I mean, some of the lads I think are doing well in midfield. They're getting into the box. We're getting to the box far more than we used to, the midfielders. And if it wasn't for those guys scoring, we'd be struggling for goals, really, because they're the ones who are putting the ball in the net currently. So yeah, it's definitely the pace of the game was better going forward. You know, we were breaking quicker, but of course, it can leave us exposed a little. But at the minute we can't do much about it, can we? Because we're going to talk about transfers soon, or lack of them. There's nothing coming in, is there? So we just got to go what we're going with.
Shouldn't take too long to discuss.
I do want to add, it was myself that brought up that talking point. But I do want to add, I think the answer, personally, to me, is the formation change has led to this speed playing forward more than Alan's inclusivity in the team. He has had two very good performances. I will just double down on that. And he deserves to play again the next couple of games at least, especially with Sheep's injury. But I do think the speed in which we're playing forward is more to do with having a back five and two up front than it is just for Alan being included in the starting 11.
I'll read some comments now. Assassins Unite. Hi all, I've got a good vibe about Saturday. 3 points on the way. Super Frank, Scribe to Army. Paul Cuttyford. We just have to get more players in. Bringing back loanees is not the answer to bolster the squad. We need experience. It's becoming a farce. Dark farts. These new signs are absolutely what we needed. Davenport, I'm not feeling very positive, guys. Injuries and no incomings doesn't fill me with hope. Ian Small, he's travelling, I believe. Flying tomorrow for the Bristol City game, hoping for a win, but it's a labour of love recently. Well, it's a hard labour of love, isn't it, at the minute? It's, it's like community service, isn't it?
I think that's more enjoyable.
Yes. Quicker has much to do with the formation as any individual player, hoping we keep two up front. I don't like Alan personally, says Mick Davenport. Doesn't like him. Liam was, even everyone, not happy with everyone having a pop at BTA. Slow burner, yes, but he's been here all of 6 months. Doug hasn't got the proverbial pot. And Saturday, very difficult game. He's going for 2-2. Thanks for popping in, everyone, for the extremely short transfer rumour show. See you on Sunday. That's from Doug. Day Sports Photos. Alan will flatter to see for a couple of games. Then his limitations will become obvious. Then he'll get injured. Paul Stratton. Read today we're under FFP rules and we need to sell to comply. Does this mean no incomings? Where is Doug with an update? Still think he is playing us all. And Janet says people need to stop picking on BTA. Also, Mick Davenport says King has gone quiet. Harry 74 JA is a footballer's footballer. I just wish he was more heavyweight. And Wayne Brewerton. Is Alan injured? Was having treatment after the game. That's right. He went straight off, didn't he? I believe after the last match. In fact, he didn't go to the players' lounges to get the man of the match award.
He was subbed off in extra time. To be fair, he ran around for 110 minutes. You know, for coming back from an injury, not even coming off the bench and then playing a full 90 against Norwich, I believe, and then over 90 this Saturday just gone. It's hard doing just coming back from injury, so I'm not surprised yet to go off for a bit of treatment.
Matthew Stone says 2 up top, last few games has got us the lead. My observation is that tactic substitutions going into the last 15 is slightly negative. The team, Alan, seem to benefit from the change. I mean, one of the changes has been Liam Kitchen coming in and doing a half-decent job. I thought on Saturday he was fortunate in the first couple of minutes because I thought, hey, he's going to get a red card straight away for putting one on. Is it Gassama? I think he put one on. I mean, to be honest, I'm glad he did because, I mean, Sheffield went to what Bernard did to Jamie Allen last time we played him. He put him out for months, didn't he? So, I mean, he's a centre half, isn't he? You want your centre half to be a bit rough around the edges, don't you, surely?
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Vicky? Do you reckon, he's come in, he's played decent. We can't let him go at the minute because there's nobody coming in.
No, I think it's absolutely crazy if we get rid of. I mean, I actually think it's crazy if we get rid of anybody because we haven't got enough depth. So we don't want to be getting rid of people. No matter sort of what people's views are about any of the players. I think they need to stay because we need the squad depth. But I mean, Kitchen, I thought he played well against Norwich. Thought he played well on Saturday. I commented on a Facebook chat about him going to Blackburn, and I always find it slightly odd because people are always talking about like fads and bringing him back, and obviously he's getting older now and he's talking about going off to Chesterfield to sort of probably prolong his playing career because he can't do it at this level anymore. And for me, Kitchen is probably like the most fads type defender that we've got, a bit rough around the edges and a bit like sort of old school defender. And I don't understand why people are so keen to get rid of him rather than just sort of embracing a younger version of the player that we had that now is too old. So yeah, I mean, I was pleased that he came in and did a good job against Norwich, and hopefully gets a bit of a run out and see how it goes.
I can hear somebody opening a can or something.
I know, one of you two are legit.
Trying to do it when you finish speaking. Sorry.
I feel left out here.
I know.
We're
on the hard stuff tonight, Claudia. We're on the hard stuff.
Oh, bit of advertising. We'll get something for that. Well done.
Well, I'm advertising the mugs.
Oh, fantastic. I like this.
You'll get a cease and desist letter soon from Pepsi.
Jack, he took his goal well, didn't he? That's something the strikers can't seem to do.
Yeah, I mean, I know we don't want to criticise our own players, and I'm not here to do that, but Kitchen can be back to goal, swivel, volley, bury, and Asante can have 3 efforts in space, 3 games in a row as a striker and not bury any of them is just the sign of the confidence of our strikers at the moment. And yeah, I mean, he scored 11 goals last season for West Brom, Brandon, and he hasn't really found that confidence here. He scored 1 league goal for us and 3 in total, and one of those was a huge deflection. So I think he's just lacking a lot of confidence, as is Sims, who's yet to score. Well, yeah, yet to score in a long time.
We're talking about defenders here.
I know. Sorry, yeah, but it just goes to show that Kitchen's clearly been given the confidence of the gaffer. That's where I was looping back, Claudia. Kitchen's been given the confidence of the gaffer and said, "We're going to a back 5. You're going to be the man that solidifies our defence." It's not happened thus far. Well, I mean, it's looked like it for 90 minutes, and clearly he's taken a bit of confidence. Thought, "I'm just going to swivel and hit this and find the back of the net." It's unbelievable. So, yeah, I mean, it's great that we're getting more people score, especially defenders. We always need the help, clearly. So it's great that he can find the back of the net, like I say.
So looking at our defence then, Wayne, obviously we're playing 3 at the back at the minute. I mean, I know Frank has says we can move players around now if he feels we can. But if you're going to play with the 3, which do you pick the 3 that played against Sheffield Wednesday, which was, of course, Binks, Thomas, and Kitchen, yeah.
Yeah, I think you would. I've only really seen the highlights, as you see, of that game. The finish was good from Kitchen. Listen, prior to Chef Wednesday and Norwich, Kitchen was kind of forgotten about, and with good reason, because most of the time he was bloody useless. He was poor, it's I know we don't like to say it, but he was useless. That's the reason why he wasn't ever picked, because when he did come on, he generally made an error. But yeah, I watched the Norwich game. I thought he was half decent. From what I've heard from the Sheffield Wednesday game, he was, again had a decent game and had a good finish. So I would stick with the same three. I think at the moment it would be suicide to get rid of Kitchen, because we really don't have any players. If we had a couple of good defenders in, I'd probably say, yeah, thank you very much, shake your hand and we'll sell you. But we don't have that luxury at the minute. So I think he's got to stay. And I would start with the same three. I would go with Thomas, Kitchen and Binks. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really sell him because we've only just had him for just over a season.
Yeah. I mean, what does it say about our recruitment, to literally
exactly.
buying in a player and selling him less than a season later, and the same with Asante as well. It's kind of like, well, we got this really wrong.
I think Frank has said he wants to see how everyone does, and I think that's what's happened here. He's let players play. Looking at our midfield, he obviously doesn't seem that keen on Josh Eccles because he leaves him out more often than Mark Robbins used to, for whatever reason. He's had the new contract given to him, but from what I gather, because of various reasons in his older contract, the clauses that was in it meant he got offered another contract, and he obviously took the option. So they made it a big deal and all the rest of it, but it was just part of the contract. Yeah, it's a formality. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Vicky. So, Vicky, would you go for the same three again, do you think, in defence?
I think so. I mean, I guess I think Thomas and Kitchen, I think would probably be my mainstay of the three. I guess then, like, Latibeaudiere and Binks bring different things, don't they? Like, Binks is he's got the ability to spray the ball around out the back, and like he can put that crossfield ball over to Sakamoto, whoever's over there, and so he gives us options coming out of defence, I think, better. But I'm not sure he's quite as good a defender. So I guess maybe depending who you play in, what you're looking for, what you think you're going to have. But yeah, I mean, well, it's a weird one with Binks. We did all that work to get him back in, and then he hasn't played a whole lot. It's a bit of a strange one, really, isn't it?
I like Binks. I mean, he can switch to play. He has to do the passing. He needs to play in the middle. He does the passing. Bobby Thomas is not allowed to pass, basically, as far as I'm concerned. Just when you
he's dreadful at passing, isn't he?
When you tackle and just pass it 2 yards, give it to somebody who can pass the ball.
Yeah, but to be honest, he struggles with the 5 and 10 yard passes more than he does switching the ball to the left winger.
I mean, we're not the only club. I still don't understand how you can be 5 yards away, and it's obvious the ball has got to go onto the foot where the player's running onto it, and somehow it goes behind them. I'm thinking, how have you done that? You're getting paid a lot of money. It's just a nonsense, isn't it, really? But yeah, the move where Binks put it out wide, Sakamoto, the ball into the box, Sims had that shot. That's great football. That's what you want to see. It's such a good flowing move. And that's what we had a few years ago. And that's what you want. And that's how, when we move it quick, we look dangerous. And I think if you get Binks on the ball, he'll try and move it fast. I think if Thomas gets on the ball, he does the thing where he looks one way, looks the other way, then he passes it, and he doesn't pass it, and then it goes forward and it comes back again. You kind of think, Bobby, stay out of it. Just do tackling. That's it. That's why I'm with that. Yeah. But the three of them, I think, well, it's interesting with Latibeaudiere because he was supposed to be at the Southern supporters meeting this week, cried off for whatever reason, and then Tavares went in his place. I don't know why. I think he was raffling off his tracksuit. So, see if or his kit, see if somebody get more wear out of it. Latibeaudiere went to watch Nottingham Forest play Liverpool. So there you go. I'm not sure about that. I'd be not very happy if I was part of the Southern group. If it happened to us when we have our meeting next month, anyway. Anybody want to make a comment on that?
No, I agree with you. I'd be fuming if Tavares showed up as well, because what stories can he tell?
He's got that goal against Preston.
He's worn that one out now. Come on.
he'll hang on that as long as his career goes on, I think.
It was a great goal. We'll give him that, and he'll always be remembered for that goal. But his 15-minute stint in the FA Cup semi-final, which he pretty did well. He played very well. But other than that, strange, really strange.
It is bizarre that he can't get on. I don't understand it. It's just bizarre. I don't understand what he need to get 5 minutes or something. It's just weird.
But it's strange as well that he doesn't get loaned. So we don't play him and we don't loan him. What are we doing with him?
He's like the luxury third keeper that doesn't ever play and gets paid.
He must cut the oranges up at half time and they really enjoy it.
I might apply for that job, actually. Can I be the third keeper? I know I'm never going to play.
We've played 3 keepers this season.
Oh, true, yeah.
So we've had to because of injuries.
Are they all third choice? Are we happy with Dovin now?
Do you think we're the only professional club or in the Championship who's played all 3 keepers in the league?
And still don't really know. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, their second team keeper, the second keeper for Sheffield Wednesday, looked excellent, didn't he? I thought he looked a really good keeper, and that's not their first choice. So I don't know.
To be fair to Collins, I don't think we'd have played Collins. He obviously came in at Sunderland following the Mark Robins sacking and an injury to Dovin.
Yeah.
Had maybe 3 or 4 performances where every shot we conceded was a goal, but none of which were his fault to begin with. Every single goal we conceded for the first 5 games of Collins' little stint were the defensive or the midfield's fault. None of them were his. And then he had 2 howlers and got dropped, and that's probably the end of him this season, at least.
But why is not he on loan? Why is nobody coming in? I don't understand these players who are sitting there doing nothing.
But again, just to play devil's advocate to both the points, Ben Wilson's got 6 months on his contract. Tavares has got 6 months on his contract. So we're not going to get rid of Collins based on the fact that Ben Wilson's leaving in 6 months. We're not going to get rid of Asante in the window unless we're going to break even because Tavares is going in the summer. Doug, as annoying and frustrating as he is with not getting players in, he is a businessman at the end of the day. He will keep players if it's not going to ruin us in 6 months. He's not going to let, like I say, he's not going to let Collins and Asante go, knowing full well that the 2 replacements to those are going in 6 months factually. So, and a bit like the Eccles contract, it might have been performance based, but also going to FFP and things. He's a homegrown player. If we put him on a 4-odd-year contract. If he has a stormer of a second half of a season, someone comes in for him for 15 million in the summer. That's profit. It's pure profit. So from business point of views, he's doing a fairly good job with the assets we have. He's not adding to that with his own cash, clearly, and he's off skiing apparently, which is another frustrating topic. But what he's doing with the current squad, he's looking after it well by not reducing the depth that we already don't have.
To be honest, Jack, if you're not going to do any business, you can go skiing.
Well, exactly. Yeah. It's not classed as a holiday if you've not got a job, is it?
Yeah. So Dave Sports Photo says, Claudio disappointing. No, that's not his saying. He's saying Claudio disappointing is the right word. The other night you questioned why people aren't pleased to see Alan doing well. It's a sign of failure that we've had to fall back on him. Mick Davenport was still letting stupid goals until that stops. We'll struggle. On the up, give it time. Dug away skiing with all his Sisu mates on the slippery slopes. Mark Rainbow. Alan might not be the best midfielder. Oh, that's shot off the page. Where's he gone? I've lost you, Mark. There you are. No, still not there. This is why I should put it on the screen, really, shouldn't I? Right, I'll put it on the screen. Mark Rainbow. Alan might not be the best midfielder in the world, but he offers something a bit different from the players in that position in the deck. It sort of highlights a point made on the channel before about how similar our players are. Paul Stratton says, my opinion, Alan, Torp, Rudoni, far more mobile than plodding Sheaf and Eccles. Far too similar. Kitchen brought some much needed aggression. Ian Courts. Well, this is a question I had at the start of the season, Ian. What's happened to our academy? Do the panel know if there's any talent coming through? And is the talent there?
No.
Well, no, because both teams are bottom of the league, weren't they, up at Christmas? So don't know what's.
The under-21s have just won 2 on the bounce, 5 goals, 2 clean sheets. That's also coincided with the return of the goalkeeper from injury.
Right.
And actually, the under-21s have only lost 1 game since Frank Lampard was appointed first team coach, and that was about 7 days after Frank was appointed.
Ah.
So they're on the up for whatever reason, whether it's pure coincidence or whether it's the new first team coaches that Frank's brought to the first team have meant the other first team coaches can focus on the development squad, or the goalies come back from injury, or the team have just got better. Whatever it is, they've got better.
You see, that's why I invited Jack on. He's got the stats.
It's weird with the youth teams, though, isn't it? Because in recent years, we have been doing well at those different levels. Like, so they've got to finals and all sorts, didn't they? But none of those players are then like. So you see they've got to a final and they've won something, and you think, oh, that's good. Some good young players coming through, and then they just disappear. You never hear from them again. Like what? So it's not even like we haven't had any success at that level, but there seems to be no way through after that. It's odd.
They need to be given a chance, surely. But it's almost like we can risk these players. Not many really come through. It's just strange. We don't give them a chance. End of. Well, Mark Robbins didn't really give him a chance, did he? We know that.
He was scared to, wasn't he?
He did in League Two because he had no choice. And they did all right, didn't they?
Yeah.
I did say a month or 2 ago when I was on, we dropped down to a 4th division where obviously the gap between where our academy are performing and where the first team are performing has narrowed. We then got 2 promotions in 3 years, whatever it was. So we've then jumped quite high. We're then a bottom end championship team, and within 2 years we were a top end championship team. So we've gone from falling into the 4th tier to playoff contending team in the championship, 2 divisions above, and the academy haven't been able to keep up. A lot of our spending has been on the first team, and it's been on the facilities, not necessarily youth player development, but we've improved the facilities to be able to facilitate that jump with the academy. So the academy will get there, but it's got to have the time to catch up based on the facilities we've instilled at the club.
Now I can see in the background we've got our Bristol City fan, Sam, is there, looking really keen. And he can sniff 3 points a mile away, can Sam. I'll just read a few comments out before I get him on. This is from Gary Collins. Shame we have to bring our loan players back, and I feel like we won't bring anyone in. King, get your money out. Sad times for us all. Hope all is good with you all. PUSB. Mark Cooper, what do you think about Blackburn's interest in BTA? We'll come to Thomas Asante a bit later on, actually. Mark Rainbow, the thing with Kitchen is while he offers a bit more aggression at the back, we know that there's a poor game coming. A big Rick or a stupid booking or sending off around the corner. The Assassins Unite, a director of football will be our biggest signing. Austin can go back to St. Albans. Doug Boland says, I'll get it up. There it comes. He lets everyone play, Claudio, apart from Tavares. I'm still not getting that one. Yeah, I know, it's weird. It is absolutely weird. Paul Stratton says, sorry, I don't rate Binks. Good ball player. However, to me, for a defender, he's not aggressive or ruthless enough. Right, I'll tell you what. Let's bring Sam in, our super fan from Bristol City. Evening, Sam.
I'm good, everybody. You all right?
Yeah. Yeah, for those, yeah, he's a Bristolian. You can tell by the accent. Right, and Bristol City, otherwise known as Bristol City 12th, because that's pretty much where you seem to end up around about there in the championship. I mean, realistically, what are your expectations? And also, what's the consensus of opinion among the fan base? You know, what should you or shouldn't you be doing in the league?
Well, if you ask John Lansdowne, he'd tell you we're a top 6 side, but without the investment. But you know, my aim is to get somewhere near the playoffs, and that would be a good season for us this year. It would be much better than the 12th finish every season. Although we did beat Preston to 11th last year, so it was a bit better for us.
Well, you've been there. Is it 10 years now? You've been Championship since you come up from League One. Yeah, so you've not had a sniff.
Yes, 10 years in the Championship. Well, under Lee Johnson when we came up, we did have a good crack. Ultimately, we lost the year when we got to semi-final of the Carabao Cup. We lost to Wolves when we were second in the table and just fell away from the playoffs altogether then.
That sounds like last season, doesn't it, for us?
Mm.
I mean, because really, we are, in size-wise, very similar, although obviously we spent far more time in the top flight than you ever did. But for a city the size of Bristol, it's amazing that is it only 2 or 3 seasons you've had in the top flight overall?
Yeah, obviously that was, if you ask modern football fans, that was before football existed. But yeah, we've never had a stint in the Premier League.
Yeah, which is amazing considering the size of the city. So you got Liam Manning as your manager. I mean, he was at MK Dons. He was sacked from there, wasn't he? He went to Oxford. They were second in the table when you got him as your manager. Were you surprised at the time? Was it a choice the fans wanted? And is he somebody you want to keep now?
Yeah, I think it come out of nowhere. I mean, he was linked literally the day before it came out in our local press, and then he was appointed the following day. I think he's doing a steady job there, and he is showing signs of improvement. And I think the board have just got to back him. They need to back him.
Yeah, well, it's a bit like Frank Lampard with us. Your guy, I've got a question about your guy in a minute because he's worth an absolute fortune. And ours isn't really. It's tin pot compared to your own in terms of value. So, I mean, how do you think you've done? I mean, obviously, you're on 8th at the minute, aren't you, in the table? So I'm presuming you're enjoying the first half of the season. What do you think? Could it be better? You missed out on points where you should have won.
It could have been a lot better than what it is at the moment, to be fair. I mean, this season we've dropped 11 points from winning positions in the 90th minute. And that would put us up to 5th in the table, and we'd be right up there. And again, we've been losing games where particularly we shouldn't lose. But then it's a championship, and it's such an unpredictable division. That's why it's the best division in the world, I believe.
Well, you've played us twice this season. League Cup, when we beat you, I went down to that when we beat you 1-0. And then the game where your ex-player scored against you, Casey Palmer. That's a question. Did you ever rate Casey Palmer when he was at Bristol? In fact, Jay De Silva as well.
That was your only shot on target, wasn't it, that game?
That's all he needs. So did you rate the players, Jay De Silva and Casey Palmer, they're at Bristol? Did you rate them when they were at Bristol?
On a personal note, Jay De Silva, I got on absolutely brilliant with him off the field, and he had a lot of time for myself and my daughter. And when he first come back down, he made a big effort to come and see us again. Casey Palmer, I was never too keen on, to be fair. He plays in drips and drabs. He's a good player if you're winning games, but if you're chasing games, he goes missing too often.
Well, I think
sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah, we found that out, and I think Hull City have found it out as well. And the trouble is, once you get labelled, that's it, isn't it? And I think with managers, they can see straight through it. But I mean, for us, I quite like Jay De Silva. Just a bit small, isn't he? And we get caught out in some games because he gets absolutely signalled out by other teams. But he's, I feel we need something better on that side of the pitch anyway. So what are your standout players so far this season? Who's caught your eye? Who's the ones we've got to watch out for, if any?
Well, at the start of the season, there wasn't much hope for Anis Mehmeti. And a lot of the times through this season, he's got a lot of criticism. But since November, he's just been on absolute fire for us. But, we've got Jason Knight and Max Bird as gently building a really good partnership in the centre of midfield together. And then
keep going, we'll get there.
Yeah, it's just stuttering a bit there, Sam.
It's a great screenshot.
It is, isn't it? Maybe come back in again, Sam, if you can.
Sorry, I think a bit of bad connection.
I've got a question lined up as well.
Yeah, you've just. Oh, you're moving a bit now. That's better.
Yeah, so sorry. I don't know what happened there. I think it's just this browser. Whenever I use Chrome, it don't go too well for me.
Oh, is that because you're in Bristol?
Yeah. We haven't got fast internet down there yet.
Oh, that hamster to pedal faster.
Yeah. So I've got one more question, and I'll let anybody else ask you a question. So your owner is worth 1.7 billion. He's been bankrolling the football club. Did he build the stand with his own money? Pretty much. The ground is, well, I mean, he owns a rugby club, the basketball team. I mean, our owner, like I said earlier, is tin pot compared to yours and the financial stakes. I mean, do you expect more from him? Because obviously, with financial fair play, he can't just buy players, can he? So, regardless of how much he's got, how much more can he give you? I suppose is the question.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he has put a lot of money into our club. I mean, like you said, the stadium redevelopment was all bankrolled by him. And season upon season, our overall debt is coming down because of the money he puts in. Ultimately, we would like to see more spent on the playing side. When you look at we've lost Alex Scott for 25 million.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we get a nice windfall from Semenyo going to Liverpool for 50 million. Fingers crossed. But it's Bristol Sports now. We're not actually Bristol City, if you ask a lot of supporters.
Oh yeah, it's he's amalgamated it all, hasn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Jack, do you want to ask Sam a question?
Yeah, so you came against us twice in August. Obviously, we beat you 1-0 and we drew 1-1, maybe slightly controversially. How have you sort of gone forward from those performances against us, or is that sort of how you still play? What are we to expect when we come against you at the weekend?
No, I believe personally we're a much better outfit than what we were when we faced you twice earlier on in the season. We had a few new signings. They're starting to gel. I mean, we're still lacking a decent striker. I mean, I don't know if you watched the cup game down there and
Some name, isn't it?
Looked an absolute beast.
Sorry, what was his name?
He's gone right off the boil at the moment.
What was his name? Sorry, Sam. You went a bit all funny on us then.
Fali Meulu.
It sounded like that when you went off.
Just a slower version.
But yeah, if he's had a lot of criticism lately from the supporters from lack of effort and things.
Is he the guy who came on in the League Cup match? Big, massive centre forward.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. He was a big lump, wasn't he? I'll tell you what, because we've got a dodgy connection, and we'll quickly go through some score predictions. Vicky,
3-2 to Coventry.
oh, Jack,
1-1.
Wayne,
1-1.
Sam.
2-0 Bristol City.
Oh, are you coming up, by the way?
I'm not, unfortunately. I got work commitments Saturday.
I just built you up as a super fan earlier. You let me.
Yeah.
Could have lied.
All lies. It's all lies.
Oh. He's a Rovers fan, really. He's got no.
Don't swear like that.
Well, I reckon it'll be a draw. It's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a real hard slog on Saturday. But it's weird because I think we've won 26, has drawn 26, you've won 25 against us. So it's been even Stevens throughout the years. Normally you're rubbish at our place and we're rubbish at your place. So I think it could be a draw though. But
I was just looking at some stats on the away game, and the overall it's 8 wins for Coventry, 8 draws, but 12 wins for Bristol City.
Blimey.
We're going to follow that up.
That means you've been
I feel like every time they come to us, it's 1-1. They're just that club that we draw 1-1 with every time we play you.
Yeah, in the last 5 games, it's one win each and 3 draws.
Yeah, well, I've seen us play you at 5 different home venues. So St Andrews, Highfield Road, CBS, at Burton for that cup match, and of course Northampton, where we had the 5-4, wasn't it? 5-4, yeah, way back. I think Callum Wilson got 2, Leon Best or Leon Clark, one of the 2, and what's his name? Somebody Daniels scored 2 as well.
Luke, was it Luke Daniels?
It's somebody Daniel.
We had Billy Daniels, didn't we?
Yeah, Billy Daniels. It'd be great if it was a 5-4. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, to us, 5-4 to us would be lovely.
Somebody in the comments was just asking what Sam thought about Luke McNally.
Yes, Luke McNally.
Luke McNally, when he first joined us, he looked a bit off the pace, but steadily, I think he's an exceptional player, to be fair, at this level. He's absolutely brilliant, and he's chipping in with quite a few goals, to be fair, lately.
Have you signed him or loaned him, Sam?
He's on a permanent deal.
Well, how much you pay for him?
I think it's about 3 million from Burnley.
Absolutely.
We paid 4 for Kitchen. Jesus Christ.
Absolutely ridiculous.
It makes you sick, doesn't it?
It's just ridiculous, isn't it? It is. It can only be wages that prevented us signing him then.
But then again, we paid 3 million for Sinclair Armstrong.
Right.
And the QPR fans said they pulled our pants down with that. And the first few games he looked brilliant, but we can see why they're saying it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we've had issues with some players, and there's other players that, I mean, hopefully if Bissett starts scoring, he'll look like a steal for what we paid for him. So it'd be interesting. Sam, I'm going to let you go, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
And
Cheers,
I'll catch up with you soon. Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
All right, take care, everybody. And all the best for Saturday, but hopefully not too good.
Yeah, I like Sam. It's a good chat. Wow, there you go.
He's
Then
been on before, hasn't he? He's been on before, Sam. I remember.
Yeah.
Claudio, one point to think of just going off topic. Be interesting just to see Luton's just announced their new manager, haven't they?
From Wickham.
The Wickham, obviously someone who we were linked with. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on over this season and whether we missed out there.
Yeah, I'm just so just frustrated this season because I feel, with the players we got. I mean, did we overachieve last season then, finishing 9th? Was that an overachievement with what we got?
The overachievement was getting to the semi-final of the FA Cup, probably.
Yeah, and so you expect more, don't you, with all the sound bites at the start of the season. Well, we're going to come on
we weren't that great in the league last season as well, were we? We weren't brilliant at all.
We tailed off, and I think it did. I mean, me and you spoke about this way. It did. Some of the faults in the team were definitely covered by that cup run. Because on the day they did it on the day, but in between they weren't doing anything. That's the problem.
It was just simple. It was just moments in time. That's all we were able to produce. And I think people got carried away with how we performed against Wolves. And let's be honest, for the first 70 minutes against Man United, we were absolute dross. And then we picked it up a little bit. We got I think a lucky penalty, a deflection, but people think we were absolutely brilliant. I'm thinking, really?
No, the comeback was brilliant, and the occasion.
The comeback was fantastic. Yeah, you can't knock the comeback, but the way some of them were going on, it was like we'd turned into Barcelona. It's like we really didn't.
We're playing a team who are low on confidence, really, and as soon as they took off their ball player, they went to pieces.
Yeah, they hadn't taken him off. It would have been a completely different result.
Yeah, and I know it's going over old ground, but in all fairness, Mark Robbins took the shackles off, didn't he, at 3-0?
Yeah.
we had a go. That was the difference, which is a shame we didn't do it earlier. We'll go back to some comments. This is from Gavin Collins. Hi all, regarding, I think it was War and Peace, isn't it? Hi all, regarding players, better to admit if we've got it wrong with certain players and get rid, rather than them being a wage drain on finances. If we could get the money back for BTA and reinvest it, wouldn't be the end of the world.
See, that's, I was going to say that's a good point. If we've got someone lined up,
yeah,
to replace him, and I think what that person said there is absolutely spot on. There's no harm in saying you've got it wrong, but if we get rid and don't bring anyone in, then we're in trouble.
And we need to get rid. If we I don't mean we need to get rid, but if we do get rid, we need the money back because we're going to make a loss in 6 months. That's poor by the recruit. If anybody, we need to get rid of the recruitment team at this rate. If they keep dropping clangers, if we're going to sell him already, he's only been here 6 months.
What do we pay for him? 2 million.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Would you guys accept breaking even on Asante by selling him, but we don't replace him with a forward, we replace him with a defender?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, or a number 10.
I think we need a number 6 more than a number 10, but
holding
midfielder sort of role.
Yeah.
Is that a right wing half in the old days? I find it funny when the number 6 would probably wear number 35 or something. Assassin's United, I wouldn't have thought Liverpool or Forest want Latty. No, he's a Liverpool fan. Assassin's United. And you know what? I watched that game the other night. It frightened the life out of me. The pace of that match was phenomenal. The way they closed players down, it was backwards and forwards. There was no let up. There was nobody dragging their heels. It was work. The incredible closing down. And I just thought our team would not live with this at the minute.
It makes Forest. You not want to go in the Premier League, doesn't it?
Yeah. This is the Forest who are unrecognisable from when we beat them in that first game of the season that got promoted only a couple of years ago from virtually looking like they're going to go down. And it's like, what a transformation. And I think if we ever go up, if ever, let's look at the positives. Don't focus on Southampton, who are struggling. Look at the teams who have stayed in there. That could be us. Why can't it be us? You just got to invest properly.
Nunes they've got a cracking manager as well, haven't they? Yeah. Like, really rate him. That makes a big difference as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Wolves. Don't sell your players and then blame your manager.
Yeah.
Oh. Where have you seen that before? Assassin's United, Robin's killed Tavares 4 starts in 4 years. I bet Tavares.
To be fair, he was injured for a lot of that, wasn't he? He couldn't have played for all of those 4 years because he did his ACL, didn't he?
Well, he was on loan as well, remember? He did go out for a bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't he go to
it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird for him. Like, why, if he's not getting played here, which obviously he's not, what's he been saying to his agent about forcing a move out on loan or even a permanent move? That's just odd as well. Because he got no real. I mean, and actually, that would worry me because does that mean he's got no real drive or ambition? Because he seems quite happy just to sit around here, like warming up.
I was thinking that 4 starts in 4 years was satirical. It is only 5 starts since we signed him, all competitions. Just look.
I want that job. Although my boss would probably say I'm doing that now. So, Harry74, don't underestimate the pressure of performing in front of 30,000 baying fans. One mistake and you are ridiculed. As much as we like to criticise and give opinions, professional football is hard.
I'm sorry, that's just such a wokey comment. It really is. It's just, come on. No, not having that at all. I'm sorry. I know it's your opinion, but to me, that sucks.
It's like when someone was saying to me once about, they get paid so much and, look at the jobs nurses do. And I always say, but a nurse can't put it in top bins from 20 yards, can they? That's what, at the end of the day,
I think the point he's making, I mean, whether you agree with it or not, is that they're still human. And just because you're getting paid 100,000, like, none of us perform well if we feel that we're being, if we feel that people are getting, like, you don't perform well in that type of environment, do you? So I think there's something in that. I don't think you can just say that because they're professional footballers and they get paid a lot of money, that they can just switch off.
They choose this as a career. Like this is an aspiration from when they're 5 years old. They've grown up with watching football on telly, knowing what happens, and then they've played it at grassroots level where you can hear every person's individual abuse. Yes, times are changing social media wise. A lot of players now remove themselves off social media, but they knew what they were getting into from 5 years old when they decided this was what they wanted to do for a living, and they've got to get on with that. I don't agree with some of the players are getting, but yeah,
I think. I mean, some players do get jelly legs. It happens. It happened to Bayliss in the League Two playoff final because I thought he had a stinker in the first half, and afterwards in the fizzy moon, I said to him, I said, "What happened to you in the first half?" He went, "I couldn't run. My legs had gone." And then I think he went into half time and just sort of chilled out a bit. Came out the second half. He was brilliant. And it can happen.
I can understand that, the magnitude of that game, being a playoff final and the difference it makes. But
and he was young.
Your standard league game, no, I'm not buying that. You're a professional footballer. You're paid to play football, and if you can't take the heat of the crowd, then don't put the shirt on.
And then in Bayliss's case, it was his first season in professional football. He only made his debut on December the 2nd or something that season. He was only 19. Homegrown from Coventry, it's big for him.
Yeah.
Finn says, even all, let's be honest, Sheaf ain't all that. Very overrated, always injured. Get rid while we can cash in and get a better attacking creative midfielder in.
I think we will in summer.
Yeah, I think he's going.
Right, mate. I think you're right.
Well, he'll have to go, won't he? He's not going to sign another contract, and if we don't get rid in the summer, we're getting no money at all. So,
which is exactly what Doug King did with Casey Palmer this season. It's why I say he's looking after the business side of things, not the football side of things.
Yeah.
Paul Stratton says, looked like we finally worked out how to get Sims into the game. First time this season, he really looked a player. Tavares is a no-brainer. We don't want him, and unfortunately, no one else does either. Joe Berman, BTA can go to Blackburn. We have too many strikers. No one can seem to find any form. Let Bissett run at them the rest of the season. Tony Swidek says, has Miles retired? No, he's having an evening off. He's still at work. Well, he'd come back late. And like I said earlier, Kenny's out doing his bit.
He's down the Walsgrave having a pint, having a night off.
Better not be. Dark fast. Aidan Dausch did okay last year, and he's still at the club.
Yeah.
He had an injury early on in the season. Maybe he's come back and helped reinvigorate the under-21s, like I say, that have improved in form. I haven't heard anything about him specifically, but he did have an injury at the beginning of the season.
So we're going on to let's talk about transfers, and we'll do the whole thing in one with the loans and everything. So Howley's come back. Burrows looks like he's coming back. They've both, I think, contracts end at the end of this year. Is that right, Jack? I think.
I don't know specifically, if I'm honest, but
I think likely. I think they're just going to be assessed and probably sent back out again. I mean, to be honest, I think we need Jack Burrows around. Maybe that's how Milan gets a rest.
Yeah.
And with Howley, we've got too many injured players, and I can only imagine it's going to get worse. The squad isn't very big, so I don't know what you guys think. Do you think we should just keep them around the club for the last 6 months of their contracts? Wayne.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We are short on numbers. Again, they're not players that pull up any trees, but they are bodies in the club. We haven't got a lot, so yeah, I certainly would keep them. I'd be disappointed if they go back out on loan. So yeah, I would keep them. And then at the end of the season, you'll probably find that they will be shipped out unless any of them do perform well. They might get an extension. But for me, yes, we should keep them.
I thought Howley was all right. I remember him. Did he make his debut against
Looks
North?
a big unit as well, if I remember rightly. He looked quite a stocky lad.
I'm sure. I don't know if you remember, Vicky. I'm sure he made his debut against Northampton in the Carabao Cup. I thought he looked half decent. That's the game where he dragged off. I think did Enna Bakari come back for a little short spell 2 or 3 years ago, and he hauled him off, didn't he, Mark Robinson? and then Shippers missed a sitter from about a yard, and we lost, and that was at home. It was a dreadful game. I don't
we played away somewhere as well, and Howley played. I can't remember where, somewhere up north. and he like we had an injury problem as we always seem to do in midfield, and so Howley was playing then, and he acquitted himself well against some Northern Championship team. I can't remember who it was.
Huddersfield, we won 4-0. Yeah. I think Sheaf picked up an injury the season playoff final. Howley played about
Sheaf
3 or 4
injured?
games.
No.
Yeah. Howley played about a 3 or 4 game stint and did quite well. But again, in a team with Gyökeres in front of you, O'Hare alongside you, Hamer and an upcoming Eccles behind you, and a back five and Ben Wilson that weren't conceding any goals, you're going to perform well. I think he played 3 or 4 games. Sheaf came back, and that was it. We've never seen him since. But
that's what's great about Jack. Jack's young enough to still actually be able to remember things. I've just got like vague memories that I can't quite put together.
And the thing is, a pair of them. I mean, they started with their loan clubs playing, and they slowly ended up on the bench. And I think Howley got injured, but I think Burrow's been coming off the bench again. So it's kind of frustrating. You think if you're not playing up in Scotland, what does that say?
Yeah.
You know, it's worse than the Portuguese league, where Gyökeres has scored 50-odd goals. Anyway, we'll leave that there. So, well, Doug King, he's gone off the radar. Whether he's skiing or not, there's not a lot coming out of the club. He did point out to me a while back that he doesn't want rumours coming out of the club, and currently they're doing a very good job, really, because nothing's coming out of the club. I think the only rumours are made by us fans on Twitter, I think, and other social media. Good or bad thing that we've not heard anything from him? What do you reckon, Vicky?
That's a difficult one, actually, because I actually think that we should hear very little from owners and like behind the scenes. Like, if you're a popular run football club, they shouldn't have to get involved in coming out very much at all. The problem is that he came in and liked all the attention, so he was about a lot talking, and so the problem is now that makes it a stark difference. If he'd come in and just let everybody get on with it and sort of took a back seat like I think he should have done, then him staying quiet now would be perfectly fine. I think the problem is that that's not how he's been, and that's why it starts people talking, because they're like, well, he's always happy to be about when things are going well. The minute there's a bit of difficulty, you never hear from him, and so he's almost set himself up like a rod for his own back, really, because of the way he was when he came in.
I know. I'll ask Wayne, because Wayne's going to have to shoot off soon. The problem is he's the owner and the CEO, isn't he?
He's everything. He's the owner, he's the coach, he's the manager, he's the sporting director.
Unlike the guy at Bristol who actually owns Bristol City, I think it's his son who may be a bit the chairman, a bit similar to the Coates family at Stoke, where someone's got all the money, but somebody else is actually running it. The problem is he's the owner and he's the board of one as well. So do you think that causes a problem?
Yeah, it does. I think to be fair, Vicky's just touched on it pretty much spot on. He, when he first came in, it was all going well. You couldn't keep him out the media, whether it was, news channels, whether he was on the Jim White and Simon Jordan show on TalkSport. He was always there, and it was always going well. And then as soon as we've had a bit of adversity, he's like a jack in the box. He's completely hiding. No pun, Jack. Sorry. He's completely hiding away. And then as soon as something does come good, he'll be back out again. I always think owners should keep themselves in the dark and let the football club run itself with sporting directors, managers, etc. like that. Let them carry on and do all that. You only ever really want to hear from the owner, from my point of view, is if there are things changing, whether you're selling or there is a new manager. But he wants to be involved with everything, but he generally only wants to be there when it's all going well. But I think our transfer policy is just a mess. No loans. We've wasted a lot of money. I think we brought in far too many coaches, and he's learning on the job. And sadly, I think, we've gone from having record season ticket sales, and his learning of the job for this season has been pretty poor. Off the field, commercially, we get it wrong with when shirt sales and all that lot are open to to the squad, to everything. So he's got to get some advice on how to run a football club, and quick, because if we don't get it right soon, those ticket sales are going to dwindle, and we're going to go back to the 15,000 gates that we were used to.
Yeah, the commercial side of things I think has improved massively, especially the shop. And Taylor's done a fantastic job. All the retro.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, he's got. I mean, all that's very good.
Yeah.
It's the running of it, and like having the shop and everything has been fantastic. The merchandise and stuff like that that's been coming in has been great. But it's when you're getting kit releases and all that kind of stuff that goes with it, it's just been a mess with them. They just can't ever seem to get it right.
They need to get the sponsor sorted way beforehand, so you get an early kit release. I mean, I had a message from a friend of mine who's got 4 season tickets. His car was broken into. They managed to get hold of his wallet. Lost all his season tickets. The club said they'll give 2 free, and the other 2 have to pay for replacements. Now, okay, it's not the money. It's the whole principle of the whole thing. This is somebody who's had season tickets for 30 years.
Yeah.
And you think surely you can waiver that. I mean, you could argue what's your wallet doing in the car and all the rest of it. That doesn't matter. The fact is, a fan who's been going for 30 years has to pay an extra £30 to get some reissued season cards, which apparently weren't even reissued ones. There were old ones from 2 seasons ago, because they're all part of the stadium where they've got the disability cards and all that. So they kept hold of the old cards. So they're not even new cards.
It's the common sense, and that's what we seem to be lacking. We seem to be lacking common sense and easy decision making.
It's like they've got a script and they have to stick to it at times, Yeah. And I realise, 20,000 people could say we all lost our tickets, but it's not going to happen, is it? No. And it's £30.
And you think, how much does the club need £30 versus the sort of bad will that's caused? He's done. There's been other things like that, hasn't there? Just little silly decisions that just upset people, and it's hard to turn that around again when you sort of just upset like a loyal fan. I think so that, like Wayne said, just a lack of common sense sometimes about just doing the right thing.
And also, Vicky, he paid the $350 for his child to be the captain's ball boy.
Oh yeah, the mascot.
The mascot, sorry. So he's already paid that as well this season. So it's not like, he's trying to rip the club off or anything. So
and the club will know that. You've got your account history. They'll know. They could see, couldn't they? That he's been spending that much money in the club. You're just thinking, like, just take a bit of common sense about it. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we're going to say goodnight to Wayne.
Yes, sorry I have to go early tonight, guys. Got a big weekend ahead I need to prep for.
We haven't spoken about Ellis Sims yet. Come on.
No, I was hoping to. Yeah, I'm even missing the game this weekend as well. So whatever comments I put on the forum on Sunday when you go live, it'll all be live for me because I won't be watching the game.
Right,
so, all right. Thanks, everyone. I'll catch you all later. See you later. Bye.
Right, just the 3 of us. Just the 3 of us. You didn't know I could sing, did you? Oh, we're still live, aren't we? So, okay, then transfers. I don't know what to make of this.
How long you got?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this. We obviously need strengthening in certain areas. It obviously isn't going to happen. Unless there's something going to happen the last week or so, I don't know. And it's got to the point where really, I don't really care. I never thought. I wasn't going to get excited because I had a feeling not a lot's going to happen. I just had the feeling after we had the forum when he gave that conference that he was convinced this is as good as it's going to be, this squad. So he got rid of Mark Robbins. He brings Frank in, presumably thinking that Frank Lampard can get a tune out of this squad. So why would he sign more players? Is my thought. What do you think, Vicky?
Sorry, I was just reading the comments and I got distracted. Sorry. It's a worry, isn't it? It's a worry for me, in so much as we've spoken over a number of podcasts now about how we've got like different levels of what we like, what would be an ideal like squad versus what we could just really do with now, and like the sort of bare minimum that we could really do with just to help the squad through the second half of the season. And the worry is that if Doug King genuinely believes that we're not missing those players, like that bit of experience that we clearly do need, is he ever gonna show that? Like in the summer, we're going to be facing the same problems where his transfer policy won't change, and he still can't see what we really need. So that would be a worry for me, because things are never going to get better if we don't fill in the gaps that are needed. And all we're going to be doing is seeing players getting towards the end of their contracts, moving on, and we're going to be weakening season on season rather than growing as we have been. So I think it's a bit of a worrying time, really, isn't it? Because I think we're almost at a sort of precipice where it's going to go one of two ways, and we're either going to fall into this precipice and disappear off to the bottom echelons of the Championship and hopefully not any worse than that, or we can rebuild and kick on again. But I think that Doug's going to sort out his transfer policy, because otherwise that's not going to happen.
Well, playing Bristol City is a good example. They've been, like I said, 10 seasons now. They've been 18th, 17th, 11th, 8th, 12th, 19th, 11th, 14th, and 11th. And this is with a guy who's worth $2 billion.
Yeah.
So it shows how hard it is. It's not as simple as buying players.
You've got to make the right decisions, haven't you? You've got to make the right decisions at the right time, I think. And it's about being shrewd as much as spending the money.
And on Saturday night, Hudson scored. That was and it was a good double save. Asante with a header. He's got to do better than that. You're looking at a comfortable 3-0 win with a team full of injuries, a squad with a load of injuries. And you're kind of thinking, we're not that bad, really, are we? According to all the SGs and that, we're third in the amount of chance we created. Also, it's balmy, the stats in favour, the positive side of things. So really, we should be much further. Yeah, we should be.
Well, it's been fine margins all season, hasn't it? There's lots of games where there's been little things, like a silly mistake, and we can see the late goal. And like your friend Sam was saying, like Bristol City have lost about 11 points in the 90th minute of game. So it's not only us. I mean, that is part of the Championship thing, isn't it? Where just weird things happen all the time, but it is by margins. And I don't think, like a lot of people say, this team's not good enough and we've wasted money. I actually think there's lots of decent players there. It's just the final jigsaw pieces to make them come together. So I don't think that the recruitment's been all rubbish and that we haven't got any decent players. I think that's not fair on the players that are there. I just think they need the support of a bit of experience, like the sort of glue to bring all that together. And then I think that we're not that far away, really.
Well, I was on CWR on Monday night, and that's one thing I said. The one thing we're missing is that older head, just a bit of experience. And you don't need to have played, you don't need to be 35 to have that experience. You could be a youngish player, yet played a couple of hundred matches at a decent level, because you've got that match time experience, haven't you? And we're still an attractive club. I don't care what anybody says. As far as I'm concerned, that we are a good club to come and play for. Especially now with the fan base we've got, which is like phenomenal at the minute.
Yeah.
So, Jack, do you think we will get anybody in? How do you think it's looking?
I think we'll have to. I sort of agree with what Vicky says about transfer policy, that Doug seems to have this agenda against loans. But at the forum he threw when Robbins had obviously been dismissed, he brought in 3 loans in the first transfer window when he first joined 2 years ago. Even last season, we had Binks and Ayari on loan, but it has been decreasing, the loans we've had. I think he doesn't prefer loans, but he outwardly said in that conference that he was open to it and he has no transfer policy. So he's either lied to our faces or has hidden his preferences. And I think he's hidden his preferences in the fact that he doesn't like loans, but will do it if we need to. To counter that, I think the 3 weeks that it took from Lampard's being Robbins being sacked to Lampard being hired were clearly negotiations with Frank. Frank would not have joined this club if he was told we are doing 0 business in January. Frank would have had plenty of time to assess the squad from the outside and learn from what's happened since the summer to now, and would have been promised something. Not sure what that something is. It might be late in the transfer window, but he would have been promised we will do something, even if it's a last-minute job. We also have the caveat of we sold Casey Palmer for cash on transfer deadline day or the day before.
Yeah.
So we're saving 10 grand a week in wages. So that's what, 30, 40 weeks ago. So we've saved a load of wages. That the wage budget's clearly there. And so is a bit of cash, whatever we sold him for. We don't really know. Rumours was it was 7 figures. So he's got a bit of transfer budget and he's got some wages. So that, to me, all points to the fact that we will be signing someone. Just don't get your hopes up for a massive, big staple name and don't expect it to be soon. It will be last minute jobby and it won't be the ideal person we want. And it might help us. That's what I think.
So Matthew Stone says, surely Frank has 2 or 3 loans lined up. It's remarkable that he'd come to us without some sort of recruitment ideas. You would think so, wouldn't you? If DK has conned FL like he has with us, season tickets, FL will walk, according to Finn. Mark Rainbow says, I'm surprised that there hasn't been fairly minor signing to placate the support. I mean, there's rumours they're trying to sign the lad from Chelsea, aren't they? And not loan him.
And where if we'd have had Doug King in the media today and we're all saying, oh, you haven't had any transfers, he'd go, well, actually, we've done 2 bits of business. We've sent Kai Andrews out on loan and we've bought Howley back off loan. So that's 2 deals I've done already. Woo!
Graham Cockrell says, look, I said it before, DK's waiting for Victor to be sold so he won't have to put his hand in his pocket. The trouble is, the longer he stays, the less we're going to get. Because that payout clause is going to come down.
Keep decreasing, yeah.
You know, Matthew Stone says, is it just the case the squad being slightly too young, Claudio? It possibly is. You know, it's not, and it's sort of young and experienced as well in terms of the championship for a lot of the players still.
We had Ben Sheaf at the meeting.
A year, and he's not played a lot of games for a start. Something like Torp. You know, we're expecting a lot of him, aren't we?
We had Ben Sheaf at the meeting, Claudio, in November.
Yeah.
And we didn't ask him this question. He just outwardly said we miss characters like Fads, Godders, even Wilson, because he's been out injured and hasn't been on the grass. They miss the older heads. It doesn't have to be championship experience, like Claudio said. Fads, most of his career, has been a League One, League Two player. Godden has mostly been a League One, League Two player, as has Ben Wilson. But they're all over 30 and they've all had bags of experience at multiple clubs up and down the leagues, and that's what we're missing. And Sheaf has outwardly said that to us at the Supporters Forum.
Yeah, it's a shame. It was at Bristol City where Fads put 4 of their players on their backsides behind the goal from that corner. It was incredible. They're all on the floor. That was superb, wasn't it? There's a great photo of that, isn't there? I do.
Was it in that same match was it one of those players as well where their boots came off and then he threw them away behind the goal? Is that the same game? I can't remember
So.
now.
Yeah, it's top professional. Paul Stratton. It's not about how much money your owner has; it's about your recruitment team. Why has Austin still got a job? Seems clueless on quality. David M says people keep saying Tavares is too young when in fact he's 23. Will be 24 in another week. I need a saw operator. You can come and do that on a Saturday when I'm at work. Joe Berman, what happened with Holding? No idea. Although, yes, someone's right. He says he prefers the MLS. Well, he wants the easy money, doesn't he? Paul Stratton, we don't sell, no players coming in. Doug has no cash and Austin has no clue. This is from Ian Hart. I just got back from training with the lads at the academy. I can honestly say there's a few under 18s that are ready to break into the first team. The future is looking good. That's nice to know, isn't it?
Oh.
Mark French.
I tried to tell you an hour ago.
You weren't listening. Mark French says, Paul Stratton, who said, I've said all a long time, even when Robbins was here, Austin is useless in Doug's pocket. Well,
I think useless is harsh.
At the end of the day, it will come down to the recruitment team. If we keep signing Duffs, it's down to the manager if he wants them or not. So let's move on to something totally different then. A huge fine. So we got a fine £10,000 apparently for a bit of fisticuffs in the tunnel, and Sheffield United got fined 80,000. And I think I'm right in saying, is that because they got fined already at the Portsmouth match? Was there problems there, Jack?
I think it was like a suspended fine. That was the warning, but because they did it again, they've kind of gone, right, well, we'll fine you for the two together. I think that's how that's happened.
All right, so I mean, I don't know. Did anybody see what happened? Actually, was it to do with Bassett? Wasn't it? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was after. So Bassett obviously got the Sheffield United fella sent off and did his wink and what have you, and then Wilder kicked off at us, and I think we retaliated. So we were involved in something that went on in the tunnel that was kind of brushed under the carpet at the time. But Sheffield United have done that a couple of times in a couple of games. Portsmouth has won, and I think they've had an on-pitch brawl, if you like, at someone else as well. So they seem to be the perpetrators of whatever's going on.
Yeah, that lad who elbowed Milan in the sort of aftermath of that incident, he got involved in the tunnel as well, didn't he? So which is also a bit annoying. Like, they all kick off, and then so what we're supposed to do, and then we get fined. Like, you're just thinking, it's a bit of a joke, really, isn't it?
So looking ahead to Saturday, and I'm looking ahead to Saturday. I've got a good feeling about Saturday. Actually, I know I said a draw, but I think as long as you get a decent performance, I'll be happy. Formation, do we keep it as it is? Do we pretty much start with the same team we had the other night? Would you like to see, I mean, personally with Asante, no. The last 3 games, he's had a chance in each match. I think I said this before, where if you're on form, you're confident, you take your chance. The header against Sheffield Wednesday just looked like a player who just got no confidence. It was so limp, wasn't it, of a header? If you're in form, you get everything behind it and you score. No. And he's not a rubbish player. This is the thing. He's a half decent player, but for some reason, he's just, well, it looks like he's lost it completely. So, do we stick with him and say, come on then, keep going, or do we chuck Bassett in? But the truth is, Bassett, I mean, I know he took that penalty brilliantly, but he needs to score as well, doesn't he, Vicky?
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the one thing with Bassett is that at least he's got the confidence. So you'd hope that maybe if he had the chance that he would put that away. I mean, I suppose the thing with Asante, really, that's going to have to be a call for Lampard, I think, because this can go one of 2 ways. You either think you can get in the right place, and I know you can score goals because you were top scorer for Albion last season, so you have got a goal in you. And if you keep getting in the right places, eventually one will go in and then you'll kickstart your season. Or his confidence is just keeping going down and down until he's almost like destroyed as a player. And I guess somebody that needs to know him to make that judgment about what type of player he is. Is he the one that can like break through this bad spell by playing it out, or does he need to come out of the team for a bit to sort of rebuild and go start again from scratch, really? And I guess depending on that view, depends which one you play out of the 2 of them, really.
I mean, we could probably all agree Dovin starts in goal for now.
Yeah.
The back 3, back 5, the only person I think you can swap is Bidwell for Jada Silva. That's it.
Yeah.
The midfield, because of injuries and all the rest of it, I suppose you could drop Eccles in there, but maybe not. You can't drop Rodoni out of the team. We need some creativity. Torp, the same. Allen, if he's okay, he has to start as well after the way he played in the last game. I don't think you can change a lot. What do you think, Jack? I don't think you can.
Yeah, I mean, we all say with Sims he needs a good run of games, and I think he might get that now. So Sims to me starts again. 2 good performances, he deserves a start. I know he's not got the goal that we all want him to get, especially you, Vicky. But you know, he's back at 2 performances. He's earned that, and I sort of feel the same towards Asante. Yes, he's missed 3 fairly glorious opportunities. Could have scored, should have scored. Bagged us more points and obviously an earlier pass into the 4th round. But after Bassett's penalty, the lad is going to be bouncing off walls. He's been bouncing off walls still today. The celebration with the fans he did, the passion's there. He will be high on confidence. I think it would be criminal not to start Bassett after that. I know he only played half an hour or whatever it was, 40 minutes, but to bury the winning penalty as a 19, 20-year-old, not that the game meant a massive amount, but it still does to the players. Every game matters in the moment. So, like I say, he'll be high on confidence, and I think him and Sims up top should be what we're going for. And Bidwell at left back, 9 unchanged.
Yeah, you can't help but like Bissett, to be honest. That whole the enthusiasm, the housery, in your face sort of thing. And if you heard his interview, he sounded a bit like Eric Cantona. It was quite funny the way he was talking. Yeah, he's full of it, full of confidence. And if you're playing up front, you need confidence.
And we have said for weeks, haven't we? We'd like to see Sims and Bissett get a win together. So if you're going to play two up front, give them a go for a few games.
Sim's got to play like that. He can't do that 1 in 4. He has to play like that at least 4 out of 5. He's got to be that front man. He's got to show up every game like that. I don't care if he doesn't, but he's got to be.
I told you we were starting in January, didn't I? Everyone was laughing at me. I said.
So David M says, Fans has just been released by Blackburn. He hasn't played for them for a while. Oh.
So that's why he was coaching, wasn't he? Because it's just a thing, isn't it? Age and everything catches up with you. I think Championship, especially Blackburn, like pushing playoffs, just wasn't in their reckoning. So they let him go to Chester. Did he go to Chesterfield in the end? Is that where he's gone? Because that seems to be like a drop down just to give him some more playing time. He obviously feels like he's still got the legs in the lower leagues.
Because he's from Sheffield. Is he from Sheffield originally?
Yeah,
I think so.
He's attached at the moment formally. I don't think he's got a club.
So we can ask him, can't we? Ian Hart, Paul. That's why he's only head coach, not manage. He can concentrate on the team and not the drama behind the scenes. It's hugely beneficial for us. Colin Bramfield says we're going to win 2-1. I would hope so. I know it's gone for a draw, but that's just me. Joe Bassett is a house. We need that. We need to get bullied. He needs to get. He's perfect for that, isn't he? Jamie Patterson. I think he always trains at Coventry, and he's off to America. Is he? I think he's just keeping fit. He's 33.
That's like the longest ever saga. Every summer he's coming to us, and then he goes somewhere else.
I know. Joe Berman says Bassett works his backside off, bullies defenders, and screams at the midfield for poor passes. His passion is unrivaled, and he needs to be starting. Play Eccles at right back, push Milan on the wing. Colin Bramfield says possibly. Dave McGee, Jay De Silva's great forward, defensively not so great. So what position can we play him on the bench? Dave M. Bassett has had at least 2 1v1 chances with the goalkeeper and has fluffed them both.
Yeah.
Well, that's what strikers do. I mean,
I think that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, like even like Vic, and as great a striker as he became and moved on to show. He didn't score every chance.
He was crap in front of goal. He was absolutely awful in front of goal. If he could finish like Godden could finish a couple of years ago, he'd have had 50 goals for us, let alone in Portugal.
And we'd have probably got automatics, never mind like happened to go to the person not quite making it. So I mean, there seems to be like this sort of weird thing now that the players who left, who were obviously all really decent, never did anything wrong, scored every chance they got, made every pass. It's just not football, is it? Everybody makes a mistake at some point, and
Finn thinks that Sims needs to get his head shaved because he looks like a 70s porn star.
Oh. I wouldn't know.
Nothing. Matthew Stone, I'm backing Raphael to be a missing piece. His presence on the pitch against Wednesday just seemed to have an aura. Don't know why. Just remember, I said it. If he comes good, it'd be amazing if that happens. Forgot about him. Doug Bowden, I agree with what you say about Bassett, Jack, but he should have gone and jumped into Davin's arms instead of making it all about himself. Davin played an equal part in the penalty shootout also. True, Doug, but strikers are strikers, aren't they?
Yeah.
If
you're not hungry, if you're not going to be all about yourself as a striker, then it's a good attribute to have as a striker, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so definitely.
It's useful if he's the man, I'm the man, I've just scored the winning goal. As you would in the 90th minute. Yeah, a goalie might make 8 saves during a game to keep you at 0-0, but it's the striker who puts the ball in the net in the 91st minute that's won you the game.
Dave McGee says, Bristol City have 4 injuries. This is a good time to attack and be positive. Dark Farts reckons we'll beat them 4-0. Asante will get a goal, surely.
If he plays.
Chris Brooks says, BTA should be moved on. He can't control the ball, even if it's with the string. Agree Sims to start and Bassett alongside until Haji is back. Now, we're going to close the show up shortly. Before we do, I believe we have a players' evening, Jack, soon, haven't we?
Yeah, 18th of... No, is it the 18th of Feb? Or have I just completely made that up? It's a couple of Tuesdays' time in February. It's at the Racing Club Warwick. We've got 2 unnamed players at the moment. The club tell us 2 weeks in advance. I'm just checking the date on that. So,
check if Liverpool are playing.
Yeah, it's the 18th of Feb. So Latty might be there unless Liverpool are playing, in which case he won't be. But let's, we had a good turnout last time. We had a packed out room. We had obviously club captain Ben Sheaf and the new signing of Jamie Allen. He was just coming back from injury at that time, and it was great. It was a great night. There's raffles. We have like a blackout card as well that goes round. Good night to be had, and player interviews. You can questions. You can get photos. It'll be a good night, like I say.
We've got Rob Gurney on the mic, comparing, and another idiot doing it as well.
Is that you, by any chance?
Not like Rob idiot. I mean, me.
Rob Gurney and an idiot.
Yeah, Rob Gurney, an idiot. Yeah. Tony, it's something I've said a while. No players' events for Coventry City in Coventry. It's a joke, and it is. I
thought Camden did one. Didn't Camden have one last week?
There's the Camden one. Yeah, there is actually. They had Haji Wright, didn't they? And
no, that was the Bedworth one because that had Sims and I was gutted. But I'm hoping he'll be at Leamington. But they did. Camden do one.
Yeah, they do one actually. They're not well advertised though. That's the problem. So, and it was. Yeah, you're right, Jack. It was a great night actually, and. Tony says not many, which is true. I mean, there needs to be a proper supporters club in Coventry. Somebody needs to resurrect the supporters club in Coventry. Simple as that, really. Can't be too hard, can it? We're called Coventry City. Surely there's somebody who wants to do it. I was just checking some here. Yeah, so we're back on Sunday, and I think we just about covered everything, haven't we, tonight? I think.
Yeah.
I think we're all happy. We want to say anything else, Jack, before we sign off?
Yeah, I was looking at goal scorers this season. We've had 14 different players score a goal now, as Kitchen got one at the weekend. This is all comps. I'm not going league only. Last season, we had 18 goal scorers, all competitions. That's including Fabio Tavares, who's obviously not had a sniff so far this season. He got 3, obviously 2 against Maidstone. Torp obviously only came in halfway through the season and got 1 goal. And Ayari only started half a season for us and scored 1 goal. So without those 3, that would be 15 players, and we're already at 14. So we're not scoring as many goals, but we are getting them from all over the pitch so far. The problem is keeping them out. We're doing a lot worse keeping them out this point this season as we were this point last season. So that to me says, yes, as many as, we keep missing chances. I think we're the top in the league table of big chances missed. The positive of that is we're creating big chances and we're creating a lot of them. We just need a bit more confidence in front of goal from all of the strikers, because that's a massive problem we've got right now with our 2 top goal scorers of Wright and Mason Clark being injured. And then we've just got Dovin, who seems to have found a bit of form. He's going to be high off 2 fantastic performances against Norwich and Sheffield Wednesday and a penalty save. Yes, he conceded 3 goals, but I think that says more about the defence again than it does about him. And, the first Norwich goal was a worldie. The second one was a deflection, and the Sheffield Wednesday goal was a scramble. So it seems like the pieces are coming together. That's kind of how I wanted to finish. We've got more goal scorers so far. We just need to bury the big chances we're creating and hopefully start keeping them out. with a back five.
Oh, thanks for that, Jack. That was very informative, and saves me doing it. So, a couple of comments before we go. Lay down. No, it's all right. I'm busy. Claudio for leader of the PUSB supporters with Vicky as vice president. I'm not sure Vicky would be happy with that. Vicky wants to rule the world.
Vicky, you start your own supporters club and you can invite Ellis Sims along.
Yeah. A. Bennett says, not sure, but thought the supporters club at the Sky Blue Tavern, no, and never has been either. They used to do the players' nights. For whatever reason, the club don't want them doing them anymore. I don't know why, but that's what's happened there.
There was talk about them starting a supporters club, though, wasn't there? So I think they did look at doing something, but it seems to have all gone quiet.
It's a big commitment. I know the guys at Bedworth that actually came to our supporters meeting. Also, the guys at Leamington, Jack's part of it, Andy and Mark, who do so much. It is a ridiculous amount of work you have to do. Sorting the tickets out for people, the coaches, everything. The lads at Southern Rugby, Mark Silvestre does it as rugby. He's absolutely brilliant. The guys at Southern, like I says, and also the new groups that have come up. It's a lot of work and commitment, and it's money as well. People have to commit to it. There's some people in the Leamington group have paid a lot of money to get the club off the ground again, and they've all chipped in. It's not easy, and it's commitment as well, which is what you want. So not just when we're doing well, but when it's a bit pants.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. The London one's been going since '76. The Leamington one on and off has been going since '77. The Bedworth one is similar, although it started and restarted, but they all started way back in the 70s originally. And some of them are still going, which is brilliant. Just a shame there isn't a proper supporters club like there used to be at Highfield Road at the ground. That's where it should be. The Anecdote should be the supporters club. That's where it should be. End of. As far as I'm concerned, it should be at the ground, a proper affiliated supporters club. Right. On that note, we'll bid you all good night. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Sammy was on. Thank you, Wayne, for his for his views, as good as always. Sunday, hopefully, Vicky's back on. I'm on. Ken's on. Hopefully, Miles, and we've got a super duper guest coming on. Trust me, you don't want to miss Sunday night. That's all I'm saying.
It's not me.
No. What I'm saying. He's been mentioned tonight. That's all I'm saying. So on that note, I'll bid you good night, everybody. Oh, play up Sky Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.